Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Loveland Beacon Talks special sports presentation. He was a star at Loveland High School when they won the state football championship. And he moved on to play 4 years of college football before signing with the Carolina Panthers of the National Football League. So today, Giovanni Ricci has moved on after 4 years of experience in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers. He went free agent, and Giovanni Ricci signed with the Cleveland Browns on March 15th. And today, Giovanni is my special guest here on Loveland Beacon Talks sports presentation. Giovanni, welcome. Thanks for joining us on this sports presentation of Loveland Beacon Talks. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
You know what? And for me, it's a kind of a thrill because for the first time we're doing this live and in person, face to face. So again, thank you for taking the time to come and meet with me. It's all been on the phone in the past. So this is hopefully it's as big a thrill for you to be sitting across from me.
Definitely is.
I kind of doubt it.
It is.
But anyway, hey, one of the things, right off the bat, and I know you and I talked a little bit, offline before we got the recording going as we record this on Friday afternoon here in beautiful Loveland, Ohio. We talked a little bit, but signed with the Cleveland Browns as a free agent on March 15th. And as I said, we talked about it a little bit, but I'm going to ask you to kind of go through that. What was that process for you in terms of becoming a free agent and then that, getting an offer and signing? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so it was a school experience from the standpoint of just leading up to it. We kind of had an idea of some teams that were interested. At the time it was like New England, New York, Arizona. Just kind of my agents were kind of getting the feelers out there, see where potentially I'd end up.
Got to throw something in real quick.
Yep.
New York, Jets or Giants?
Giants.
I thought you'd said Giants.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yep. No,
yeah.
And then the night free agency opened, I get a call from my agents. They're just like, hey, Cleveland threw in an offer. And it was, a surprise to me because we hadn't talked about them at all leading up to the process or through the process. And that when they said that, I was just like, what do you think about that? I was like, well, shoot, it's really close to home. And, my wife will love that. And as we kind of continued to talk through it, we just decided it was the best fit overall. And, thankful that I got the opportunity from them because it's been, great so far, being up there, getting to meet everybody, getting to, familiarize myself with the organization. Perfect fit, close to home, get to play in Cincinnati. So, it's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and we're going to go through a couple things, but I'm glad you mentioned that get to play Cincinnati. So 4 years experience with the Panthers, 3 of which rostered and action, which included a visit to Cincinnati, but just one. Mm-hmm. Now with our arch rival Cleveland Browns, for those of us that are going to say we're Bengal fans, we're all Giovanni Ricci fans here in Loveland. But so with you with the Browns, you're going to come to Cincinnati once a year, and I know already. I made a note because the schedule just came. We're talking on Friday, and the NFL schedule came out on Wednesday, and so I did a quick check. So your first game against the Cincinnati Bengals is going to be week number 7. Mm-hmm. Whether you guys, I don't think you'll have a bye before that. I didn't check that, but
no,
so it's going to be game number 7. Did you check that right away yourself?
I was curious. My buddies, they all hit me up too because I think we're coming to Cincinnati
later,
like Thursday night, like right before Christmas time.
Right.
It was cool to see. I mean, it's exciting. I have a ton of family, obviously from here, and then I also have a ton of family who grew up Browns fans and kind of live more north in Ohio.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, so they could not be more excited. So it'll just be a ton of fun being able to, whether in Cleveland or here, have family around, being able to play, and it's exciting. So
Well, in the time, and we're going to step off of football just for a second, because I think the people here in Loveland, probably those closest to you know this, but there's some people that might not know. There's a couple things. One, Giovanni Ricci is a married man, so about 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then there's an additional Ricci family member. Congratulations again on your baby boy, which is, I guess you still call him a baby when they're not quite 2 years old yet, but he's a little bit over a year old now.
Yeah, he's coming up on a year and a half.
Yeah.
My wife and I wasted no time after getting married. So
yeah,
he's everything. His name's Antonio after my dad, and he's got all the energy of a boy, running around, tackling the dog, doing all that stuff. His first word that he consistently could say was ball. So
that didn't hurt your feelings, did it?
Everything, trending in the right direction. But yeah, it's been awesome.
No pressure, Antonio. Just ball.
Yep.
I love it. Well, again, congratulations to you and to your lovely bride and on Antonio. And your dad's got to be thrilled with the namesake and everything. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been a tradition in my family. I was named after my grandfather, and just kind of all I ever knew growing up. And it was something I was adamant about since I was little. Once I kind of understood,
Yeah.
And something I always wanted to do. And my wife, she was on board, and so it continues for another generation. So
very cool. Well, again, congratulations on that. But stepping back into the football world, you touched a little bit on that process and that signing with Cleveland. That happened quickly. I mean, within that first day of free agency, you get that offer from the Browns. What are some of the things for you? I mean, and again, you touched on it a little bit. Obviously, at the end of the day, you chose it because it's the right fit. But what are some of the key things that stood out for you in terms of let's jump on this Cleveland offer, regardless of any talks with potentially the Giants or New England or anyone else?
Yeah, I checked a ton of boxes. First off, being close to home, like we said, makes life a lot easier for my family, and the opportunity to play in a division that is, in my opinion, and probably most people's opinion, the best in football right now, the AFC North. So getting to play and for a really good team. They've done well the past few years. I mean, everyone in the division's done well, but they're not, the Cleveland Browns I grew up with, or, so it's exciting to be a part of that, get the opportunity to, contribute to that. And, even just being up there, the short time I have been through OTAs the past, month or so, just being in the locker room itself, like the level of talent on the team, and then you look around the division, it's just, like you said, best football you could play right now, and just that alone was another box, being able to play at that high level.
Well, you beat me to the punch, Giovanni, when you mentioned some of the talent, and it's not the Browns of the past. Of course, right now here in Cincinnati, the Bengals are not the Bengals of the past. Mm-hmm. Without hurting anybody's feelings, these two franchises over a period of about 30 years were right there at the bottom in terms of maybe the worst franchise. The Cleveland Browns are not anywhere near the bottom. The Cincinnati Bengals are not anywhere near the bottom. And as you said, the AFC North probably around the league, and you know that better from being somewhere else. How do other teams talk about it? They have to think the AFC North is like the strongest division in the NFL. Of course, again, I've got those Michigan roots and Detroit Lions. That's another. I mean, that NFC division with the Lions, the Bears, the Packers, the whatever. That's also been, one of the strong ones. But AFC North, hands down.
Yeah, in my opinion, there's a lot, top-heavy divisions. Obviously, any division where you got the Chiefs, it's going to be tough,
right.
Stuff like that. But just top to bottom, I mean, I use this as a comparison, and, no this to where I was before, but in the NFC South, the Bengals would have won it last year, and they were last in the AFC North. So
Right.
And I mean, you could say that about some other divisions too. It's just crazy from top to bottom. Every team, they have a chance every Sunday, and and they're good. They're really good. So
Well, you know what? And it's interesting, that the NFL has widened that playoff picture recently. I think that's in recognition of, if you have a team, for example, the NFC South. What was the record of the first place team? I mean,
the Bucks were 9-8.
I was going to say, 9-8, and you've got teams, in multiple divisions that the second and third place team were better than that. And so I think the NFL saw that some years ago and said, let's introduce this wild card thing, and it's even expanded a little bit beyond that to say you can't have this. I mean, because there was a year that. I think, when it was still a 16-game regular season, somebody got in at 7-9 because they won the division with a below 500 record.
Yeah.
And then you got a team that, was in a, like with New England, was 13-3. The second place team was 12-4.
Yeah.
You got a 7-9 team going into the playoffs, and you got a 12-4 team staying at home. So credit to the NFL for that. Whatever complaints we have about how they do things, but that's an amazing situation, like you pointed out. Again, getting back to, your situation now with the Cleveland Browns. Oh my gosh, you're going to be playing with some seriously talented football players. Not that you weren't already. I mean, one of the guys that you played with at Carolina, McCaffrey, you can arguably one of the best players in the NFL, if not, the best running back in the NFL. So you've seen it. But, who are some of the guys that, as you've been there since March 15th, well, let me rephrase the question. What are some of the things that you've already been doing with the Cleveland Browns? Because I know you've been spending time in Cleveland with the team, I guess on the field or in the training rooms or whatever that case is. You tell me.
Yeah, so we started our OTA period, was just, kind of voluntary off-season training. About a month ago, in the whole NFL, they all do it in their own way, and so we got up there. First couple weeks were just lifting, running, kind of getting ready to get in shape, that kind of stuff. Not that everyone's already doing that before then, but then the past 2 weeks we've actually gone on the field a little bit, done some walkthroughs, some routes on air. Some we're not necessarily going up against each other, but getting that time to build chemistry with teammates, quarterbacks, run routes, learn the offense, get around the coaches. So it's all it's a great time to, especially for a new guy to the team, to learn how everything's ran, learn how the new players, new coaches, all that.
Does that sound funny to you, like the new guy on the team? Like, I'm the new guy all over again, right?
Yeah, like I told, my wife and I joked, it's kind of like the, first day at a new school feeling, like,
sure.
The first time up there. But the thing I love about, probably say sports in general, but just everywhere I've been, from I started playing football, so back in grade school, I feel like this football locker room is just, I can't say, but because it's the only experience I really have at high level, but just the culture, the atmosphere of a football locker room is just so different than any other kind of work environment you could have, and it's just, it was, you fit right in, everyone's super welcoming, and it's and that's the one thing about Cleveland I've been so thankful about, is from top to bottom, GM to the custodian cleaning at night, everyone is the most friendly, they love the team. It's a great culture, great environment, and just really excited about this season. So
the welcome was good.
Awesome.
You didn't really feel like I'm the new kid on the block so
much.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
What are you hearing, or what did the Cleveland Browns tell you? Obviously, it went into your decision to go ahead and sign with the Browns when the offer came. But what's going to be the role, or why is it a good fit for Giovanni Ricci? What will be your role with the Browns?
Yeah, so my kind of, my internal just motto, I guess, for most of my career is just, whatever's needed of me, I'll do. And it's kind of led me to do a ton of different roles, which is, it's a ton of fun for me because I get experience doing a lot of different things and talking and, the communication up to signing and all that. And like you said, it happened pretty quick, but it just felt like my skill set, my value was valued with them, and having the opportunity to not only play obviously tight end, do these things, but like my value as a special teams player, they were sought after, and but yeah, as far as my role, like they early on, kind of see me as a guy who can move all over the place, like I have been in my past.
Right.
They need to line up in the slot, at the wing, on the ball, in the backfield, being able to do whatever's needed for that play or what we need for that game, and kind of like that Swiss Army knife role
right.
that you mentioned, and, which I've embraced, and but then also to obviously contribute on special teams and to be a part of that. And so with all those things, being up there for the past month or so, it definitely feels like you getting the opportunity to do these things and to show that I could do it, and having the opportunity, which is, the main thing I was honestly looking for coming out for agency, was just the opportunity to show what I can do. And, they've allowed me to do that, and it's been a ton of fun so far. Obviously, right now it's very preliminary. It's just, we're on the field, no helmets, nothing. But once training camp hits, getting to have the opportunity again, it's been great. So, yeah.
Well, and again, as we sit here and record this on Friday, I got to think, I guess what is today, the 17th? I had to think about it. But so as we sit here and record this on Friday, May the 17th, you're just a couple days away from the real OTAs of May, which you said begin. You'll be back in Cleveland on Monday, but you've had kind of this week off, a little break in the action while they did the I guess the rookie mini camp this week for the new the new draft choices or whatever. But you're back on the field with everybody, veterans and everybody, for the OTAs beginning Tuesday, which is the 21st of May. Mm-hmm. So excited?
Yeah, it's going to be, we've kind of gotten that little taste of it the past couple weeks. But, Tuesday we'll get to actually, put helmets on, get out there, it's not very, we're not necessarily going up against each other. You're not allowed to hit or anything like that, obviously, but we'll get to do some things with the defense. Just kind of feels a little more of like a practice than what we've been doing in the past. But at the same time, controlled environment, and like I said, just that opportunity to kind of mesh with the other players, get some timing with the quarterbacks, build that relationship. And
does that do the OTAs in that situation? Does that situation? The question was going to be: is that situational? I mean, it's like football situation, even though you're not hitting. But does that really become more situational, like you're running plays and seeing?
Yeah, you do. We'll do walkthroughs. We'll do 7-on-7 just to get timing with the quarterbacks. But actually, I'm pretty sure we get to start doing that against the defense next week. Everything's controlled by the CBA and all the rules.
Right,
so
right.
But I think we can start doing that next week. And
well, that's a double-edged sword. You want to get the players ready, but you also want to protect them in the off-season, training opportunities, so nobody's getting hurt in those situations.
Yeah. So right now it's more, a lot of it's, educational, learn the playbook, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then just, getting that, like I've said multiple times, but just getting timing and familiarity with teammates. That's really what OTAs is pretty much for.
Yeah.
And then, once we get back for training camp in August, that's when, the real get ready to play some football. So,
obviously a lot of excitement. You were talking about getting the opportunity to do all the different things, and I threw in that Swiss Army knife comparison when we were talking offline. But that's something that, you showed that and embraced that role at Carolina, for 3 full seasons. Contributing on special teams, coming out of the backfield as a fullback, off the line of scrimmage as a tight end, and so you're going to really get to, maybe honed those skills already, but really get to show off that versatility and talent at the different positions. What I want to get to with the question, Giovanni, is so in those different roles, what did you like best? Or maybe there's a play or something over those years that really stood out, like that was, your favorite moment or something like that.
So what's funny is, I kind of tell a story sometimes, but I was quarterback all my life, right? And I became a receiver at the end of my high school career, went to college as a receiver. Then I got moved tight end at the end of my college career. And through all that, starting as a quarterback, you never in your mind think you'd ever be playing fullback.
Right.
And so I get to the highest level of football, and I get asked, do you want to play fullback? Yeah. Yes, with my head saying no. But, do whatever, is needed. And it's just kind of crazy to, think back for me on I've played football for, almost 20 years now,
Wow,
like we're coming up on that.
When you stop and think about that, doesn't that kind of like it's
and you
20 years, what?
Yeah. Like, what am I doing? But no, so you look back and you're like, I was playing, the pretty, the good, position. Everyone wants to be the quarterback. You don't get hit, all that stuff. And now I'm, in the trenches, running my head through a wall. It's like, so it's just funny to see the, I guess, just the growth of my career and like kind of how it's evolved over time. But at the end of the day, now it's like I view myself as a tight end. I love everything tight end involves, and tight end in itself is, you got to be able to do everything. You got to be able to run, catch, block.
Yeah.
But as a
that's a lot of work.
Yeah. But sorry to get back to the question like that. That the opportunity to do all these different things on the field has really not only helped me understand the game in so many different ways. As a receiver, I'm not concerned about what they're doing on a run play. I'm just out there on my own. But as a tight end, you really have to know everything. And
well, you know what? Not to put words in your mouth, but what I'm hearing, like, what's that favorite moment? It's like all of those moments combined, and the opportunity, as you said, to evolve as a player and to grow in your career. I mean, I hear that, because I was going to say, when I asked the question, favorite moment, I almost said, aside from the first time you ran on the field for a regular season game, because I remember we talked about that back when it happened, and so obviously that's a really cool moment. That stands out.
It's definitely something that I have to sometimes remind myself, like, when I was a little kid and the dream was to play in an NFL game or be on an NFL team, and I'm now sitting here going into year 5 of my career. It's like, how did I even get here? Thinking back to running out on the Loveland youth football field. It's just it's really, really cool. Obviously blessed to be able to do what I do, and thankful for the opportunity. But like you said, just being those moments of how did this even happen? It's pretty awesome. So
very good, Giovanni. Thank you so much for taking the time. Now, before I sign us off here, so to speak, is there anything you want to say about what's coming next? Because obviously I just want to say that Loveland, myself and Loveland, we wish you the very best, even though you're going to be with the Cleveland Browns. And as you said, you got family that's there, so they're thrilled to death. Yeah. But definitely wish you the very best. But is there anything, like you want to add that, maybe I didn't think of a question that, or...
I mean, obviously, Loveland's my home, and we'll always be here. And with that even being said, I mean, definitely not taking it easy on the Bengals. So
Right. Well, just don't get that touchdown catch against the Bengals, and we'll be perfectly happy. Have a good game, but I won't say anything more about it. Obviously, you go out and give 100%, regardless. I mean, obviously, did that with the Panthers, and you'll do that in your position with the Cleveland Browns, and we'll applaud that regardless. Again, you have a great community of support here in Loveland, so I get that.
Yeah, obviously very thankful for it. So,
you know what? I did think of one thing I kind of wanted to ask you. So, you're living here in Loveland, and traveling to Cleveland. So, is it going to be a home here, or are you looking to, get a home there in Cleveland?
Yeah, like I said, Loveland's always going to be our home. We have our home base here. Obviously, right now we're looking at options for up there, and depending how the season goes and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe do a little commuting back and forth. But yeah, it's it's something that we're looking into. But being so close, it's just like I said before, like awesome for my family. Being able to get up there in a day, get back that night, it's just
right.
a lot easier. Couldn't be more thankful for how the situation played out. So,
well, I think people don't, and people don't necessarily realize it really is a quick trip. I think some people know that, but if you don't travel it, my daughter, I mentioned that to you before. My daughter and her husband and children live in the Cleveland area. I'm there in 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy trip. So it's not the worst commute.
No,
we're happy to keep you here in Loveland.
Exactly. Me too.
So. Well, Giovanni, again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and share your story. And we absolutely do wish you the best. Have a great OTA camp and then the training camp after that. And we'll look forward to hearing more and seeing more. And I always look for. I'm gonna pop you a text message somewhere along the way and ask you if you got time to talk. So hopefully we'll get to do that maybe during the season too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. Thanks, Giovanni.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thanks again to Giovanni Ricci for sharing his NFL football story with us as he comes home to Ohio with the Cleveland Browns. We wish him the best of luck, except, of course, against our Cincinnati Bengals, throughout the 2024 season and throughout his NFL career. We'll be watching for number 44 in the Browns jersey all season long. For now, I'm Chuck Gibson saying thanks for listening here on Loveland Beacon. Loveland Beacon Talks Sports Special is a presentation of Loveland Beacon Digital Media and Gibson Communications, LLC.